Hello beautiful people, welcome to the channel. The Witchy Goth here, hope you're doing well. Today's video is a response to, what's his name now, bear with me a second, Hole in the Bucket. And I'm doing this as a video because I would need to type an entire script to reply to him and his comments that he's put here. A couple of weeks ago, I uploaded a short. It was a clip from one of the videos that I had previously recorded, and the heading of it is Patriarchy Values Men More Than Women. Why? So he's proceeded to tell me why. And this is the last comment that he made. And you can go read these comments. I'll link this in the description box below. So I'm going to read through this first, and then I'm going to go through it bit by bit and try to hopefully explain to him that his thinking is archaic and patriarchal. So, Hole in the Bucket says, the problem, Mom, is you, and so many women don't think it is. You don't see what is being done behind the scenes by men to give you the freedom, comfort, and choices you have. Have you ever had to register for the draft under the threat of losing your freedom? You have the freedom to CRAP on men in society using the technology that men invented and maintained. Good, benevolent men protect women from bad men. When the US Army was in Afghanistan, the women there enjoyed the freedom to go to school and many other things, but when the US left, the Taliban returned and began to oppress the women, and their men refused to fight and die for them. American women have the crazy idea that they fought for their freedoms. In Iran, when the women there tried to fight, they were crushed. Men have the monopoly on force, he means enforce, but anyway, and women will always have to appeal to men for their freedom. But women today are so unappreciative and lumping all men together as bad that men are getting tired of it. Wibble, wibble. Opposition is growing against women. Sadly, the internet is growing in this rhetoric. Men in private spaces talk about it. They don't want to help women anymore. If they want to be equal, let them deal with the consequences. I've been married for 36 years to a beautiful, appreciative woman. I like the idea that if a man was bothering her in public, that other men, strangers, would step up to protect her. Men don't want to do this anymore. Women in sports want to be paid the same as men, like the WNBA, which would not exist if the men's league did not fund them. And they lose $10 million a year for 25 years. What business would give their employees a raise with losses like that? But they don't see what is being done for them behind the scenes by men. And they CRAP on these men constantly. This is a microcosm of women today in our society. I fear the future, and if you watch closely, the tide is turning against women. Women are not and can never be equal to men. There is nothing wrong with that. Both are needed in society. My wife is an intelligent and beautiful person. I would never stifle her creative opinions or ideas. They have benefited our family tremendously. Appreciate what the men behind the scenes are doing for you. Thank them for their service. If more women did this, I believe it would halt this growing negative manosphere. My 2 cents. I'm pretty sure I can hear all of my feminist friends, their hackles rising at this, because I think Hole in the Bucket is possibly part of the problem here, and he has been brainwashed by the patriarchy to believe that what he is saying is correct. So the problem, Mom, is you, and so many women don't think it is. No, it's not us. And I'll explain why. You don't see what is being done behind the scenes by men to give you the freedom, comfort, and choices you have. Men doing things behind the scenes for women to make sure we have the freedoms that we have. Men shouldn't have to do things behind the scenes. It should just be. We are a human being. You are a human being. So all of this should be transparent and should not be held in control by the patriarchy. Have you ever had to register for the draft under the threat of losing your freedom? No, I haven't, but I live in the United Kingdom. And, you know, I want to say this. Who caused the wars? Who put the armies in place? Men. Not women, men. You have the freedom to CRAP on men in society using the technology that men invented and maintained. Dude, I was an IT support manager. Women also maintain technology. Women also created technology. In fact, it was a woman, and I cannot remember her name off the top of my head, who got the spaceship to the moon with her coding. I'll pop it into the comments below. Good benevolent men protect women from bad men. Okay. Bad men, good men. Why are there bad men? Why are there not just good men? Because they're men. And men, the patriarchy, think that they can control women, think that they can grape women, that they can essay women, that they can essay them, DV them, and do whatever they want to them, because many of them see women as property. We are human beings. We have a brain. And before anybody says, no, but there's a difference between male and female brains, there isn't. I'm actually studying psychology at the moment, and there is no difference between the male and female brains. So don't come with that. When the US Army was in Afghanistan, the women there enjoyed the freedom to go to school and many other things. True. But when the US left, the Taliban returned and began to oppress women, and their men refused to fight and die for them. Who are the Taliban? Men. Just because you are a white American male, I'm assuming that you're white, does not excuse the men of other races in the world. They are men. Men oppress women, no matter what country they are in around the world. Just because you see your perspective as being white privilege is not the case. The case is that all men of all races in all nations have the ability to treat women like this due to patriarchy. So get out of your little box of I'm a white man, I would never do that, and it's them, the bad men that come in, or the bad people that come in afterwards, because what gender are they that oppress women, that stop women from going to school, that perform FGM on women? Oh, they're men. American women, now I'm not American, I'm British, have the crazy idea that they fought for their freedoms. Men gave them their freedoms. Why did men give us our freedoms? Because women fought for them. The logic here is astounding. It is absolutely astounding. The suffragettes fought for our freedoms before the beginning of the 20th century. Women could not vote. Women were able to begin voting, I think it was in 1920 something. I cannot remember the exact date. I have done videos on this, so you can go back and watch them. And at first it was only the wealthy women, and then the wealthy women lifted up the rest of the women so that we could vote. I just love the way they say, we gave you the freedoms. No, we fought for our freedoms. You wouldn't have given them to us if we hadn't fought for them. The twisted logic here. In Iran, when the women were there, tried to fight, they were crushed. Why? Because M-E-N. Men have the monopoly on force, and women will always have to appeal to men for their freedom. We shouldn't have to appeal to men for our freedom. It should be a given. A hole in the bucket, I want you to see how ridiculous your words are and look at the irony that you are putting into this. You are actually saying that you are the problem. But women today are so unappreciative and lumping all men together as bad that men are getting tired of it. Well, women have had, how many millennia of being tired of being treated like dirt by men. Wibble wibble that you're getting tired of women coming down on you guys and saying, why aren't you actually doing what you say and protecting us? Because men don't call out other men. You will see a man abusing a woman and do nothing. You will sit with a man and a man talks about abusing a woman and do nothing. You will sit with a man who jokes about raping a woman and do nothing. I'm not saying all men, because there are men out there who do help and support women. However, in my experience as a woman, the vast majority don't. Opposition is growing against women. Sadly, the internet is growing in this rhetoric. Why is that? Well, a lot of people, and I've had thoughts on this, and these are my thoughts and my opinions right now, but people these days in these new generations communicate via the internet, via text messages. People don't have that face-to-face narrative anymore. When I go out running every day, there are people that I see of my generation or slightly older than me, and we talk. We say hello. Even when I'm running, yes, it's a breathless hello, how are you? But we talk. What I've noticed is those that are in the younger generations than me don't. Now, I always say, hi, how are you, as I'm running past people, because I run in a wooded area where there are many dog walkers, and I have noticed this. I've also noticed, I was in town yesterday, local town, and every single man that I saw that was younger than me had their phone in front of them while they were walking. There was a guy on his bike with his phone. There was a guy on his motor scooter with his phone. Why aren't you interacting with the people around you? This is why on the internet this is becoming a problem, because you are listening to people like Andrew Tate, like Jordan Peterson, like all of those other despicable, misogynistic, patriarchal men who believe that a woman's place is in the kitchen. A woman's place is to have children. A woman shouldn't speak her mind. A woman shouldn't be able to do what she wants, and she should not have autonomy over her body. Well, she should. They don't want to help women anymore. Did we ever ask for men's help? And who do we ask for help from? So who are we needing help for? Men. Women generally don't go around graping or essaying other women. If they want to be equal, let them deal with the consequences. Yeah? We are adults. Let us deal with the consequences. Because you're saying that we're not equal, and we should be equal because we are human beings. I've been married for 36 years to a beautiful, appreciative woman. I like the idea that if a man was bothering her in public, that other men, strangers, would step in to protect her. They probably wouldn't, mate. They probably wouldn't. You need to check this. You need to check the statistics on this, because most men wouldn't. And who would be the person that would be bothering her in public? A man. Men never wanted to stand up for other women, ever. Men never wanted to protect women. Men pretend that they want to protect women so they can look big and strong and tough and that's what it is. It's not about protecting women, because you are protecting us from our perpetrators, who are men. Women in sports want to be paid the same as men, like the WNBA, which would not exist if the men's league did not fund them. And they lose $10 million a year for 25 years. And then he goes on to say, what business would give their employees a raise with losses like that? Okay, I don't support American sports, so I'm guessing that that's NBA basketball. Who offered to support them in the first place? You know, why weren't women allowed to play basketball? Women were not allowed to run in marathons until the 60s. I've spoken about this before as well in videos, and I'll pop a link to that video below. A lady entered the Boston Marathon, and she was the first woman to ever run in a marathon. She had to dress like a man. She was wearing tracksuit bottoms and top, and she had cut her hair short. And luckily for her, the men around her did protect her, and she was the first woman to ever run in a marathon, and that was in the 60s. Prior to that, women were not allowed to take part in sports. They did in tennis, but the women were wearing long dresses at the time. So it was a very different kind of sport. So in the last 50, 60 years, women have now been able to partake in sports. So I'm sure Hole in the Bucket is going to say to me that, yes, because we've allowed you. Do you hear what you're saying? We have been fighting for this all along. The fact that you have allowed us to is because we were fighting for it. Because if we didn't fight for it, you wouldn't have done it. The level of intelligence here is just shocking. And then he goes on about what business would give their employees a raise with losses like that. Well, let me think. The governments give all of their employees raises, and they're always running at a loss. But they don't see what is being done for them behind the scenes by men. So what is being done for us behind the scenes by men, and why can't it be done in front of us? Why can't you come out and say, right, women deserve this, women deserve that? Not deserve, should have, because we are equal. We are human beings. And they CRAP on these men constantly. Yeah, we do. Why? Because it's not up to you to decide what we should and shouldn't be able to do. But you think it is. This is a microcosm of women today in our society. I fear the future, and if you watch closely, the tide is turning against women. So what are you going to do? You know, are you going to start beating us again? Are you going to start hitting us over the head with a club and dragging us into your cave? Are you going to force women to have children? Is it going to become The Handmaid's Tale? Because we're still fighting. We're not giving up. We still fight for our sisters in those countries where FGM still occurs, where women are not allowed to go to school, where women are forced to cover their bodies from head to toe because men tell them to, where women are not allowed outside by themselves unless they are accompanied with a man, where women aren't even allowed to look out of a window by themselves. This is not, again, about the Western world society and the privileges that white men have, because it is white men that have these privileges. This is about equality for every single human being. The tide is turning against women. Women are not and can never be equal to men. Why? Because men say so. There is nothing wrong with that. Yes, there is. We're not children. As I said before, men and women, our brains are exactly the same. There is no difference in our brains. We should be equal because we are human beings. Both are needed in society. Yes, they are. And I wonder why. I'm going to come to that at the end. My wife is an intelligent and beautiful person. I would never stifle her creativity, opinions, or ideas, but you are. You are doing that by saying all of these things. Now, you've been married for 36 years, so I'm guessing you are of the boomer generation. And that's a very old-fashioned generation, and the Gen X generation, which I'm from, started to turn the tides on that, and millennials and those after us have continued with that. Why? Because we realise that our fathers and forefathers were wrong to oppress us, were wrong to push women down, were wrong to push people of different colour down, were wrong to push people of different sexual tastes and choices down. That we are all human beings and we all deserve our own autonomy, not to be used and abused by a small percentage of white men. They have benefited our family tremendously. And I love how you say that they've benefited your family tremendously. Have they benefited her? I'd love to have a conversation with her. I'd love for her to come on here and hear her thoughts. So if you want to hole in the bucket, please feel free. Show your wife these comments. Show your wife this video and let's see what she has to say. Appreciate what the men behind the scenes are doing for you. I'm going to answer that in a minute. I'm going to come back to that. Thank them for their service. If more women did this, I believe it would halt this growing negative manosphere. My 2 cents. Okay. Appreciate what the men behind the scenes are doing for you. Dude, you would not exist without a woman. It's that simple. Men can't give birth. So, I hope you take the time to watch this video and to actually listen to everything that I've said here and how ridiculously ironic your comments are, how they are so twisted and patriarchal, which is exactly what my video was about. Why are men valued more than women by the patriarchy? Because the patriarchy is men. Because men are in charge. If women were in charge, believe me, this world would be so different. There would be no wars. You wouldn't have to be drafted. Women wouldn't be raped. They wouldn't be essayed. Society would be fairer, happier. But hey, let me know your thoughts in the video, in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, please click the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Under his eye.